I'm sitting there and you're breathing your oxygen. You're hearing yourself like you're scuba diving where you're hearing the bubbles over and over. There's no one there but your own thoughts. I'm sitting there and I start thinking. I had the parachute off. I started thinking, what am I doing? Why would you do something like this?
If ever Luke Aikins was going to need divine intervention, it's now. He's about to jump out of a plane without a parachute, without a wingsuit, without anything at all.
I have a wife and a son. That was about, you know what I mean? Like, I have this. Why do I need to do this? What's the point?
Time to drop. I'm showing 2 minutes on the GPS.
2 minutes, Roger.
I was nervous, but it was really sort of odd. I felt calm. Took a deep breath, and I was just like, okay, here we go.
Did you have any last words to Luke before he got on that plane?
Yeah. I said, don't up.
First of all, Luke, are you crazy?
I like to say that I'm not crazy. Obviously, a little bit. You have to be a little bit crazy to jump out of an airplane without a parachute. There's no way around that. I'd love to say that I'm not crazy at all, but I mean, let's be real. I've jumped out of an airplane without a parachute.
Just how he survived is an incredible combination of courage and careful planning. Luke would free fall for 8 kilometres into a 30 by 30 metre net strategically placed in the Californian desert. His only visual reference, lights to guide him to the target. If he's on the right approach, they will turn white. Red means he's heading towards disaster. He would eventually flip and land with nothing but the clothes on his back. The jump would take almost 3 terrifying minutes.
If you treat it like this is the biggest jump of your life, there's a whole bunch of pressure that comes with that. If it's just another jump and you train for it, you do everything you can to be ready for it, just another jump.
Luke is no stranger to jumping out of planes. He's done it more than 18,000 times. It's his day job.
See ya, buddy. See ya.
So let me get this right. You're a professional skydiver, base jumper, wingsuit flyer, pilot, stuntman. You train with the military and you're part of the Red Bull Air Force.
That's it. Sounds about right.
So you're not an alpha male by any chance, are you?
I think to do the stuff that we do, you kind of have to be.
Luke also trained Felix Baumgartner, the first man to jump from the stratosphere, breaking the record for the highest skydive.
I'm going over. Jumper away.
I think it's just part of who I am. I don't really think about it as something that I love. It's just part of me, you know? I don't think about I love my right arm or my left arm, but it's just part of who I am. It's what I do. I can't imagine my life without it.
Luke was born into a dynasty of skydivers. His late grandfather Lenny, father Lance, and mum Debbie are all skydivers. Oh, and for the record, so is his wife, Monica. You meet, you and Luke and Logan, and you're everyday people.
Yeah, I guess I don't feel like we're crazy because we're skydivers. It's just, to me, it's just a lifestyle. You know, it's not for everybody. And we've, you know, obviously surrounded ourselves with people of like lifestyle. And so I guess to us, it's not crazy at all.
Now Luke, his dad, aunt, uncle, and cousins run the family skydiving business that Lenny started in Shelton, just outside Seattle.
All right, you think you're ready for this?
No,
No?
absolutely not. I think I'm gonna cry.
And then your left foot in there, slide those up on your legs.
Even though I'm terrified of heights, I want to get some insight into Luke's world, so I reluctantly agreed to jump. I'm only jumping from 13,000 feet.
Hey, everybody, 1 mile, 1 mile.
It's tandem with a parachute, and this was scary enough.
Was unbelievable.
Pretty fun, huh?
You have changed my life as of today. Honestly, I never thought I would ever do that and still be alive to tell the tale.
Welcome to our world. This is what we do.
I don't know if I'm going to give it my day job, but
No.
that was phenomenal.
We have an opening.
Yeah,
We have an opening.
Jumping in this family might be second nature, but doing it without a parachute is downright dangerous. An unexpected gust of wind is enough to turn Luke's jump into a catastrophe. Surprisingly, the idea was hatched by an amusement park and a food company that makes chewing gum.
Chance gum!
I mean, how did this jump even come about?
Well, I was actually contacted about this jump. It wasn't my idea to start with, to do this jump without a parachute. And I kind of laughed about it. I went in the house and I told my wife.
We sort of both laughed at the idea because it was just one of those things that was sort of not impossible, but it's just sort of funny and ridiculous, crazy, you know?
So I had told them no, I turned it down because it was too crazy for me. It was nothing that I wanted to do. I got a little boy and a wife and a life.
And then I could just sort of see Luke's brain working and working after, you know, we talked about that. And I was like, I know he's gonna do it.
You knew he was going to do it before he even made up his mind.
Yeah.
When Luke told his parents he was going to jump without a parachute, his mum didn't want to hear of it.
He told me it absolutely wouldn't happen, you know, and they didn't tell me till the last minute anyway, you know, because, oh, don't tell Mom anything, you know, she'll freak out, they think, or whatever, yeah.
So when they said it is going ahead, Debbie, how did you come to grips with that?
Well, I said I absolutely wasn't going to go.
Anytime anybody even brought up even the word, you know, no parachute jump, she'd just run out, like literally run out of the room.
Lance, how did you feel about it once you knew it was on?
Of course I was nervous, but excited too.
You were confident he could do it?
Oh, absolutely.
Jumping without a parachute might look possible on paper, but it takes meticulous planning to actually make it happen.
I said, I'm not a hired gun. I'm not a stunt guy that's gonna come in and just do this jump based on what you guys have come up with. I wanna be involved in every aspect of the stuff that saves my life.
One of the biggest challenges was finding the right net.
We tried a bunch of different netting. We dropped dummies from varying altitudes, working our way up until these dummies that weighed what I did would hit the net going the same speed that I was going. And we did all of these tests in order to make sure that I was gonna be okay.
It was calculated Luke would hit the net at a speed of 193 kilometres per hour. So when one of the dummies crashed through, the search was on for a fail-safe net. Luke turned to the acrobats in Cirque du Soleil.
This is what these guys do, is fall from great heights. And I touched the net, I'm like, what is this? Where did you get it? And they told me what it was made out of, and I went home and looked it up. It's a fish netting company. They make netting for catching fish.
Luke just had to make sure he wasn't going to be the one that got away. Two years after being approached to do the jump, Luke and his team were ready. It was then that the reality of what Luke was about to do hit home. Luke's focus was on his family, wife Monica and 4-year-old Logan.
Okay, you keep running, I'll throw it to you. Ready? Whoa!
Then there's always that little 1%, that what if. something goes wrong, you know? And that's the scary part.
My wife and I had a talk like I don't know that we've had since we've been married. So open about it. I mean, here I am about to do something that, you know, you could not return from, and are you okay with it? You know, we had a long talk about all the risks and, hey, are we really gonna do this? I mean, now it's getting real.
Everything was just really fast, so it was just like that moment of like, settle down, clarity, like let's just talk. And yeah, I think just walking away from that, it was just like, okay, we're all on the same page.
So then when I woke up on the day of the jump, just another day. Breakfast with my son, high five, wife and I headed off to go make some history.
"42-year-old professional skydiver, husband and father Luke Aikins is about to jump out of a plane at 25,000 feet without a parachute.
I'm here to prove that you could do something that seems crazy, seems unimaginable, and you can do it in a controlled, calculated way.
But a last-minute ruling by the Screen Actors Guild ordered that Luke wear an emergency parachute. All the careful calculations were suddenly challenged. Luke's jump was in jeopardy.
24 hours ago, I was informed that I'm gonna have to wear a parachute to do this jump. That adds a complication that we didn't exist before.
But I almost didn't do the jump because they wanted me to wear a parachute. Basically, imagine landing on your back with a bowling ball on there. It's gonna, you know, arch your back in the wrong direction. So that was a lot of drama going on.
I know it's probably crazy, and probably no wife has ever said this to their husband, but I was like, I don't want you to wear that. Like, I want you to jump without a parachute.
Could you believe the words were coming out of your mouth?
No, no. After I said it, I started laughing, you know, because I was just like, I probably never thought I'd say that out loud, you know?
So when we got in the airplane, shortly after takeoff, I had made up my mind that I was taking that thing off. It was what was right. It was what, for safety, that's what needed to happen.
On that 30-minute climb to 25,000 feet, Luke questioned what he was about to do.
I'm sitting there, and I start thinking, why would you do something like this? I don't understand. It makes no sense. And I guess you start thinking about that, right? It starts going through your head. And then it's funny, I have sunglasses on, a helmet on, a mask over my face. You can't really see any part of me. My cousin Andy, who I have thousands of jumps with, knows me forward and backwards. He gives me a little fist bump on my leg, points at his watch. As soon as he did that, it kind of broke the tension a little bit. If you don't have thoughts like that, you're probably not human, right? I mean, you would be a crazy guy.
In the jumping world, tragic outcomes are very real. Bad things do happen. Plenty of them. This year alone, 22 base jumpers have perished. There is a scary roll call in these sports. I mean, this last few months with base jumpers alone, it's been insane.
I'm super sad when my friends pass away doing that, but unfortunately, I'm not surprised anymore. It happens so often that it's no longer shocking to hear that some of the best in the world have died.
They're doing what they love. You're doing what you love. If it costs you your life, is it worth it?
I guess the answer is no. If it costs you your life, it's not worth it. But when it doesn't, it seems worth it. And that's where you can't ever see that that's happening to you. And I think that that's part of the thing with extreme sports and extreme sport athletes that allow us to get past that is we think that can't happen to us.
With seconds to go before he leaves the safety of the plane, Luke just has to trust that all will go to plan.
Time to drop. I'm showing 2 minutes on the GPS.
2 minutes, Roger.
In that moment, when I moved to the door, I had nothing but 100% confidence. I look down, I'm looking for one thing. I'm looking for where the net is. Can't see it, but I know where it is. Okay, I see it. I'm looking for the lights. I'm not gonna quite see the lights yet, but I know I'm in the area. When I looked at my buddies before I jumped, I looked at Jeff Rowe, I looked at Andy, and I looked back at John. I didn't have a doubt about what's going on. I was like, here we go, guys. It was kind of more like that. It wasn't cocky, it was confident. So 23,000 feet, I've just jumped out, I've done a flip, kind of taking a breath, making sure I'm in the right area. At that point, I do a practice roll to my back.
Right now, Luke is hurtling towards the ground at 240 kilometres per hour.
So 15,000 feet, I hand off my oxygen system to Andy. I look down and now I really start focusing on where I am.
Incredibly, he takes a moment to joke with his skydiving buddies.
A little over halfway down, maybe 12,000 feet or so, I do a handle check. Basically, so something that we do in skydiving where we check for our handles to make sure they're in the right position. I did that as an inside joke for the skydiving community because I thought they were the only ones who would really know what that meant. Doing that kind of was funny. I giggled to myself. I thought it was pretty funny. And then you start focusing. As you get lower, you need to focus more and more. So the next big altitude is about 6,000 feet. My teammates start to open their parachutes.
From this point on, Luke was completely on his own.
I had one job to do, and that's to land in that net. At about 5,000 feet, I realized I'm a little bit off.
He was drifting a lot more. So I was a little concerned why he was doing that.
They have a visual on him right now.
About 2,000 feet, the inside forward light in front of me turns red. That means I'm a little bit forward. I know that the outside ones are white, so there's no question that I'm inside the net. At that moment, I make a split-second decision not to keep moving towards the center, but to stay where I am. I'm in the net, I'm in the safe zone, I'm gonna land in the net, I'm gonna be okay. Roughly 300 feet before I'm gonna make contact with the net, I need to roll to my back and get ready for the impact.
How did you feel once you'd landed?
It was awesome. It was unbelievable. When I did a couple tumbles and it kind of rolls you to the middle of the net, that was the beauty of the net system. Is if you're off a little bit, it keeps you in the middle.
Do you remember what you said when you landed?
I said a couple curse words.
Yeah, buddies. Yeah.
You did?
I did. I said a couple times as I tumbled, and I think I said, F yeah, buddy, F yeah, talking to myself as I tumbled. And then as I was laying there in the net, looking up at the sky, I lay there for a second, and in the video, you can hear my breathing. It starts breathing very heavy. You can tell, I think it starts to hit you, kind of have an emotional moment, right? And I said to it's really funny, I talked to myself. I said, oh my goodness, Luke.
Oh my goodness, Luke. Oh my goodness, Luke.
So Luke lands, the jump is over, you run over to him, you hug him. Do you remember the first thing you said to him?
Yeah, I said, you did it.
I'm good.
Mum Debbie could not watch the jump, but all the noise told the story.
I heard a lot of screaming, and Lance had run over to the door with Josh and said, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. So then it was better.
Would you let him do it again?
For sure. Yeah.
I did not expect that answer.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would let him do it again. I mean, the science is there, he's done it. I actually was a little upset that he was like 15, 20 feet off the center mark.
Whatever's in store for Luke in the future, it's hard to imagine him being afraid of anything. Everyone has a fear. What's your fear?
Y'all in? Yep. I would say my biggest fear is not being a good dad to my son. The other stuff is like, the scary stuff doesn't bother me at all. In the moment, you just deal with whatever you have to get through it. In emergency situations or scary situations, you just do it, right? It's no problem. But this being a dad thing, there's no rules, there's no instructions that come with it, and I want to be there to support him, push him, but not too much. And it's a really weird thing to figure that out.